All right, by request from Diasis, he wanted me to talk about XJW analyzer John Letter. I think his name is. I got a little story about him. He was the first apostate I ever watched when I was going through my witch hunt of the others chasing me and all this weird crap going on in my life, and I was just like, I'm gonna rebel. I'm gonna watch something apostate just for fun. And the first person I found was John Letter and XGW Analyzer because I was searching through different topics. I didn't want to be too racy, you know. You know how it is when you first like stepping outside. And I watched the one about the graphic pictures in the My Book of Bible Stories books. And granted, legitimate arguments, but nothing that would shake my faith and make me leave being a Jehovah's Witness, you know. And then I watched some stuff about the crazy teachings in the Elders book, and then I was like, I'm done with this guy. He's very negative, you know. And so this is how it was. And then I went over and I switched over to JT and Lady C, and I don't remember which I watched first. It might have been the one on the 104,000 and the missing seats, you know. And that was part of my wake up process. And so I have a special place in my heart for John because he was the first apostate I ever watched. Now, I always knew that he was an ISTJ. I'm around ISTJs a lot. My boyfriend is a lawyer, and ISTJs make the best lawyers. My boyfriend is not an ISTJ, but all of his friends and all of his lawyer friends all are. And so I'm around this type of people very quite often. They also make really, really good accountants. They're actually incredibly good at interior decorating, and they also are good for programming and designing, like he got into his field. They're kind of like a jack of all trades because they can be taught to do anything really because of their SI is so high and SI emulates. And so it's kind of interesting about that. So, how did I know he was an ISTJ? Okay, well, I've already talked about interaction styles, and I also talked about temperaments. Okay, and so first of all, I just had to pinpoint what his interaction style was. Now, you can't necessarily do this with just somebody's video when they're just by themselves because it's kind of hard to see interaction when it's just themselves. I mean, you can get an idea, but it's good to confirm with more data than just that. And so, fortunately for me, he has many videos of him interviewing the guys from Uncultured and some other interviews of him interviewing some other people with Diasis and the roundtables and things like that. When the roundtable came out, I had everything confirmed. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's an ISTJ, Jimmy's an ESFP, and GS is an ESTP. Very typical friendship between those three. Um, and so I can pinpoint that because his interaction style is direct. He speaks directly, so he means what he says and says what he means. Okay, and so there's no like esoteric language. He's not very flowery. He's not doesn't speak in like a cryptic way like I do. You know, I don't really say what I mean. I kind of just like say stuff and hope you guys get what I'm saying because I'm informative. And so this is how I knew about that. And then pinpoint movement and responding. Unlike the ESTJ Lloyd Evans, who initiates, John is a responding. That's because he's an introvert. So he responds to people asking him stuff. Many of his roundtable stuff, he's initiating a lot. So I'm assuming that actually gets kind of exhausted to him at the end of that show for an hour and a half, 2 hours, like that, because that is three or more. And so so he's sacrificing with that, I'm pretty sure. Uh, and so I knew that he was responding. I knew he was direct, and you can see movement. So he wants to keep the ball rolling. Now, Lloyd is control, which means he's more about outcome, and so he'll slowly bring you to that outcome because he wants that outcome to happen. Movement types can operate in chaos, but we want to bring you to that outcome, but maybe in a quicker way, and we might lose patience in some way sometimes. But and so and you can see this now with the way he's acting in his own channel, as you see XJW Analyzer doing his channel now, and he's putting out video after video after video after video after video. This is movement, okay? You know, and so he's figured out a template of what he wants to do and how he wants to put out this information. And so he's going to be moving and moving and moving and moving. He's putting out one video a day. He put out a video like 5 days in a row. You know, that's movement. I'm movement too. So it's like blah, 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 blah. So I get in these little sticks and I'm just like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Bam, 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 bam. And so that's how movement types are. Now, temperament, I had to, figure out which his temperament was, and he is an SJ, which is this is a traditionalist. This is past focused, duty focused, affiliative. You listen to John talk; he always talks about what's right and wrong for the community, not necessarily what works. He's not the pragmatic like Deasis is. He is affiliative because he cares about right and wrong in the community. Okay, so he's always talking about right and wrong. Why do you guys still hold on to your hatred of LGBTQ when you disregard all these other scriptures? Okay, that's an argument he presented. The right and wrong. Let's rationalize on this. Okay, let's talk about right and wrong, not about necessarily what your independent thinking is. And so he always wants to create this community. And so you think about different things like his Discord channel. You have a community, everyone bringing everything together. People are able to talk. He's always talking about feeding the poor and the homeless and all this kind of stuff. These are all affiliative things, affiliative qualities. Okay, but he's also systematic. So he does things in a systematic way. And so it's all about process, systems, things like that. I'm very sure he likes to have an orderly house. He likes things to be organized. He likes the things to be systems. And so, and when he walks into like um, a place, he can figure out the systems pretty quickly. And he obviously works in computer software, and so that also is all about systems too. Um, I'm sure as a Jehovah's Witness, he was able to figure out the systems of the Kingdom Hall and figure out how that elder body ran it in certain different ways. I don't know how many Kingdom Halls he was or congregations he was in. I was in 8 and I'm an ENTP and I can figure out systems like that. And so I just walk into the Kingdom Hall and I'm like, okay, this guy does not like him. These people are fighting. This is going on like this. And so I was like, bam. But the ENTPs are triple systematic and we're kind of crazy. But anyways, and so then I figured out his temperament because of he's affiliative and he's systematic. So that makes him an ISTJ. Okay, so you bring those two together, 100% accuracy, ISTJ. All right, what is an ISTJ? ISTJ, what is their hero function? Their most powerful cognitive function is SI. SI hero is all about duty. It is all about being faithful. It is all about being patient. It is all about being loyal. It is all about past experience. You can see him just off the top of his head ramble on about different stories uh, with verbatim and understand details of each story. What was going on, how he felt about it, what people were doing, in really good detail about his past. Okay, so SI users are usually past focused, and they usually will explain things with the story of something that's happened to them personally, because SI is all about your experience. SE is about group experience. So SI is about your experience in the Kingdom Hall, your experience, with your mother, your experience with his father, and things like that. So he's always talking about how his experience was with those people around him. He doesn't talk about other people's experience. He talks about his own experience. I'm an SI user too. We talk about our own experience. Okay, so SI also likes to have good foods. They like to be comfortable. They like to be made comfortable in that kind of sense. And so when you had like the shit hit the storm and all that drama, and people were like saying, "Oh, people are jacking off and sending videos. Is this true? We don't know." John said, "Fuck this. I'm out of here." He got off social media. He was uncomfortable with the situation, so he got the hell out. That's what SI heroes do. I'm not comfortable in this. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do things my way, in my experience, and so it's going to happen that way, So he went back to making videos and started a project with Diasis and just got out of the drama and all that BS. Okay. TE parent. TE parent is a little bit different than TE hero of Lloyd Evans. TE hero of Lloyd Evans is a little bit more optimistic, and TE parent is more it's pessimistic and responsible, and it usually wants to teach others the same, but more in a responsible, controlled manner versus more of a excited manner, if that makes any sense. And so you see John all the time talking about, hey, I want to teach people. I want to bring the TE parent. Think of a parent trying to guide their son how to do certain things. Okay? And so he always tries to guide people in a way. That's why these guys are professors. That's what these types do. They like to teach. They become teachers too. All right? TE parent is all about being responsible. Do you have any sources? Cite your sources. That's an ISTJ thing. They always say that. Cite your sources. Where are you getting this from? You know, uh, he's always talking about different books. This book is my source. Okay. Uh, you bring up experts and things like that. You need to go see a therapist because that's a professional. TE is all about who has a degree or or whatever qualifications to do what they're trying to do. Okay, so TE is all about that. They're all about status. Okay, so he likes to bring up that what his job is multiple times because that status is important to him, and so that's always brought up. Okay. FI child. John is a moral person. He's not an ethical person, okay? Morals means he comes upon his own conclusions for what's right and wrong. This is why he's able to go into the XJ community and counsel people and try to teach them and bring them to a reasonable conclusion about his version of right or wrong when it comes to gay people, and why he has a moral judgment on what church he wants to go to. Do they let women be preachers? Do they let gay people be preachers? Is there discrimination? This is very important to them because, believe it or not, even though he says he's a logical person, he's actually a feeler, and his driving force is actually his morality. Okay, he uses that core philosophy or morals he has to teach others and to find publications and books and stuff like that to verify and to come to that conclusion to promote his moral code. Okay, so the FI child is like that. It's a very innocent, pure way of looking at it. And you see that it's like, well, why are you like this? You guys don't believe in slavery. You don't believe in hitting your kids and killing them. So why do you not like gay people? It's very childlike morality, very pure and simple and clear. It's not complicated. It's not complicated morals. Any inferior. Although he's like 41 now, I think. He might be getting over this fear quite a bit. Probably he is. This is the fear of the unknown. And so, as a young kid, he probably feared demons as a witness, more or less. Feared what may happen. As a father, I'm sure he worries about what his kids may do. I don't know if they're old enough to be out driving, and so maybe he hasn't been challenged that much yet. But you think of any inferior mother or father, and the kids go out driving for the first time when they turn 16, and they're worried about what may happen. Okay, they worry about not being wanted. Okay, this might drive any inferior to get married younger than what they should because they're afraid if they miss out, they won't be wanted. Um, this is kind of things that they do. Fear of metaphysics. They're usually afraid. They can be afraid of ghosts. So you can have like a lawyer, PhD, who still fears ghosts, still fears the supernatural, and things like that. SE nemesis. This is his worry. This is what antagonizes his SI hero. Because his SI hero is all about being comfortable and things like that. SE nemesis is always about, hey, you got to worry about making other people comfortable. And so I'm sure he worries about different things when people come over and he has guests at his house. He wants to make sure everything's nice. You can hear people saying like SI nemesis, I can't have guests over because our furniture's old. We gotta remodel. We gotta make sure our houses. We gotta make sure our pipes are fixed. We gotta make sure it was perfect. My mother has SC nemesis, and when I first moved to Tennessee, she wouldn't let me see my room. I was staying at, until she was ready for it because she was worried about giving me a bad experience. Okay, because she wanted to make me comfortable. So SE Nemesis wants to give people comforts. They want to give others, they worry about this. They worry about giving someone a bad experience and things like that. Is the lighting right? He has a video about how to be an activist. Make sure your lighting's right. Let's worry about this kind of stuff. You got to make sure you give a good experience. Things like that. TI critic. He's very critical of being illogical on himself. Okay, so he's always talking about being a logical person. It's because ISTJs, for the most part, always verify. And they fact check before they say things because they're so critical of themselves and they're so afraid of sounding stupid or, just being incorrect because they're very critical about themselves and they want to, hey, we got to make sure this is verified. We got to make sure this has been, if I'm coming to a logical conclusion. And so they really worry about that kind of stuff. They're very critical on themselves to make sure they do verify, make sure they come across as logical, and they hate when they become illogical. They hate being illogical. Now, granted, Their vice and virtue is kind of interesting because they can be the walking library of Alexandria and remember everything, all these different factoids like this. But what are you remembering? A lot of ISTJs fall into a trap of knowing like celebrity nonsense and pop culture and trivial matters. So how are you using your brain? Are you using your brain to learn important things? Are you learning your brain to using? Are you verifying stupid things like who's Britney Spears is dating? Oh, it's verified fact. Okay, yeah, but it's trivial. All right. FE trickster. The trickster function is something we think we can do, but we really can't. Okay, and so he wants to think that he can be an empathetic person, walk in and understand what people are feeling, but he can't. Okay, he doesn't care about their feelings and their values. Okay, it's about his values. FI child. Just like I don't care about my own values because I have FI trickster. I only care about other people's values, and I don't really have my own moral code. So his is all about his moral code, and other people's moral code is kind of irrelevant. Okay, so that's not really going to dictate what he does. FE Trickster can also say, I'm sorry, yeah, FE Tricksters can also not understand what might offend other people, and they could say some stuff. It can come off as racist, it can come across as insensitive, it can come across as brash or dirty. So there's a stereotype for FE Trickster of the type of guy that will be in a stall next to you and he'll talk to you and not realize that you don't like that, and it's like, or people that talk on the phone in the bathroom or something like that. Now, granted, ISTJs hide this a little better because they're affiliative, and so they know about the right and wrong of the community already. But like an INTJ, they're very guilty of these kind of things. INTJs can be like that, and you're just like, whoa, you're in my space. The NI demon, he is a sacrificing person. So NI demon is completely oblivious to what they personally want and what their own long-term goals are. They kind of do what they're told and what they want. That's why SJs are so good at school. This is why they're usually pretty good kids. They're very easy to raise because they always do what you want because they're afraid about what you want and they're afraid of not giving you what you want. And so the best way to piss off an ISTJ or an ISFJ is demand them to tell you where they want to eat. Okay? That's not their point. They want to know where you want to eat. All right? Because they want to give you what you want. Okay? This is why they go with NI users such as Beth, who I think is an ENFJ, and things like that. And so, how to unleash his demon? Don't appreciate when he's trying to give you what he wants. Piss him off and complain about certain things like that. And if I'm giving everyone what they want and you guys won't let me do that, and so if that's the case, I'm only going to do what I want, and that's how he gets angry. So he just does what he wants. He goes by himself. So hence getting rid of his social media, getting the fuck out. I don't give a damn. I was trying to give you guys what you want with watching Watchtower. I was trying to do the Discord channel. I was going to do all this kind of stuff, and you guys shit all over me. Now I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to fucking leave. There you go. At NI Demon. And as an ISTJ, 41 years old, he's going to be expiring. He already is. I can already tell he's already looking into esoteric things. He's already looking into metaphysical things. He's looking into the ghost stories and all this other kind of stuff. He actually has a curiosity with it now. And this is because he's going to aspire to be an ENFP. ENFPs are all about any metaphysics. They're always about asking people all these different questions. What if this happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? And so, he'll start searching around. He's finding people like Diasis, who is his golden pair. They'll be very good friends because they're perfectly aligned for friendship. Um, if Beth is indeed an ENFJ, I haven't really seen it. I can't really type her because she doesn't have any videos of her, in a conversation. And so, but I'm pretty sure she's an ENFJ. Well, anyways, very compatible match for a marriage. So that works out. That's the bronze couple. But Diasis and John are the golden couple, at the golden pair, because they go straight across SISETETIFIFENENI. And that's why they're going to be a really good tangent, the dynamic duo in a way. And so this is my thoughts on John and his channel. As you can see, he's being more movement. He's putting out mass production, bam, 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 bam. He's using the template. He knows what he's doing. And these are the finisher types. And so he's going to keep going until he feels he's finished. And that's just the way they are. Let me say one thing about interior decorators. Why ISTJs make the best interior decorators. If you watch that Netflix special, the reality TV show of the interior decorator competition, the second place winner was an ISTJ, and they gave it to an ISFP. I mean, yeah, ISFP. They shouldn't have done that. She's pragmatic. She can't be an interior decorator. She's gonna do what she wants, not what the customer wants. Okay, so SI Hero walks into a room and they know right away if they're comfortable or not. They can sense like feng shui, So it's just like, these colors are just, and there's like, I'm not comfortable in this room. They can sense that. So interior decorators need to know this kind of stuff. They need to know when their decoration is over the top, not comfortable. Okay, TE parent knows what other people think. They will find out what you think about this kind of stuff. They're going to get that data. They're going to get that information. Okay, and so they're going to ask the customer about it. FI child, they want to do the right thing based on their own morals. So they want to give people that, that right and wrong of. So they care about people's feelings in that sense. Any inferior, he's worried, he's afraid of not giving what they want. Okay, so you have a customer as an interior decorator, and you want to give them what they want because you're afraid of not giving them what they want, and so that fear will drive you to do the right thing. SE nemesis is the worry about the experience you're given, so that's also really good for interior decorating and things like that. And so, the manipulative knows what the community thinks is right and wrong for a house to be built, how it to be decorated, and the systematic is he can systematically write it down and draw it on the plan and have it systematically implemented in a very structured way. Well, anyways, this is my thoughts of XJW analyzer, and he is an ISTJ.